Imagine a time when massive pyramids were rising in Egypt, Mesopotamians were carving the first known scripts, and the Chinese were shaping their first dynasties. But far away in the Indian subcontinent, a civilization was thriving, one so advanced that even today its disappearance remains a mystery. Welcome to the enigma of the Indus Valley civilization. Who were these people? How did they live? And what led to their downfall? At this time, while Mesopotamians were mastering writing and Egyptians were building pyramids, the Indus Valley civilization was laying the foundation for an extraordinary urban network. Spanning over 1.5 million square kilometers, it was home to over 5 million people, a number unheard of for that time. The Indus people, known as Meluha in Mesopotamian records, traded extensively. From cotton and beads to lapis lazuli and pottery, their goods traveled as far as Mesopotamia, Persia, and even Egypt. Their ports and dockyards, like Lothal, were among the earliest known maritime centers. But what did their cities look like? And how were they so advanced? Unlike other ancient civilizations, where cities grew chaotically, the Indus Valley cities were built following a structured plan. Every house, road, and drainage system was carefully laid out. The cities had two distinct sections: the citadel, an elevated area for public buildings, and the lower town, where people lived and worked. This careful organization hints at an advanced administration, perhaps controlled by councils or merchants rather than kings. The houses were built using standardized baked bricks, an engineering marvel for that time. Whether you traveled to Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, or Dholavira, you would find houses made with the same materials and measurements. Some were simple, one-room structures, while others had 2 or even 3 floors, inner courtyards, and even private wells. The Indus people understood the importance of air circulation. So many houses had strategically placed windows and ventilation shafts, keeping them cool even during scorching summers. One of the greatest achievements of the Indus Valley civilization was its drainage system. Long before Rome or London had proper sewage disposal, the Indus people had built underground covered drains that carried waste away from houses. Even public buildings had access to water. Mohenjo-daro alone had over 700 wells, ensuring that every household had easy access to clean drinking water. This level of water management was unparalleled in the ancient world. Apart from homes and streets, the Indus people built public structures that served various functions. The Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro, one of the most famous structures of this civilization, may have been used for ritual purification. Another key structure was the granary, a massive storage facility that helped stockpile grains for future use. Harappa had 6 large granaries, and Mohenjo-daro's largest structure was also a granary. This level of planning suggests an organized government or merchant guilds, ensuring that food was distributed efficiently. The Indus Valley civilization wasn't just a land of great cities. It was a land of order, discipline, and innovation. What's most fascinating? They had no mighty emperors, no palaces, no massive temples, yet they flourished. Unlike the Egyptian pharaohs or Mesopotamian kings, the Indus people may have been governed by a network of merchants, trade guilds, and local councils rather than a single ruler. Their administrative efficiency is visible in their standardized weights and measures, used from Harappa in the north to Lothal in the south. These weights followed a 16-based system, a concept that later influenced the Indian currency system, where 16 annas made 1 rupee. Even without metal coins, their trade network ran smoothly, using a barter system with seals and tokens for transactions. Lothal's dockyard, one of the earliest known in history, allowed them to send goods across the Arabian Sea to Mesopotamia. Indus seals have been found as far as Mesopotamian cities, where they were known as Meluha, the land of merchants. Their ships carried cotton, beads, and ivory to trade for silver, jade, and wool. But trade alone didn't sustain them. Their wealth came from the land. They were the first people to cultivate cotton. Their farmers plowed the soil for wheat, barley, sesame, and peas. Unlike Mesopotamians, who relied on artificial canals, the Indus Valley people mastered rainwater harvesting and reservoir systems, especially in Dolavira, where giant water tanks stored rainwater for dry seasons. Yet despite all their progress, one thing remains a mystery. Who were these people and what did they believe in? The Indus Valley people didn't leave behind grand temples or giant statues of gods. But they did leave behind art that speaks of a deeply symbolic and ritualistic society. Take, for example, the bearded man statue, also called the priest king. The detailing on his shawl and the solemn expression hint at a figure of high importance, possibly a spiritual or administrative leader. And then there's the dancing girl, a tiny yet captivating bronze figurine, just 10 centimeters tall but full of life. She wears armfuls of bangles, a style still worn in parts of India and Pakistan today. Could she have been a dancer, a goddess, or a common woman immortalized in art? Their religious practices remain an enigma, but we do have clues. The Pashupati seal shows a horned deity in a meditative pose, surrounded by animals. Many believe this is an early representation of Lord Shiva, the Pashupati, Lord of the Beasts. There's also evidence of fire altars in Kalibangan, possibly used for rituals. And in the ruins of homes, we find countless terracotta figurines of the Mother Goddess, suggesting a reverence for fertility and nature. Yet despite their wisdom, something changed. Their cities fell silent. But why? For centuries, the Indus cities thrived. But then, around 1900 BCE, something changed. Trade slowed, rivers dried, and their writing disappeared from history. What happened? One theory suggests climate change played a role. The Sarasvati River, once the lifeline of the civilization, gradually dried up, forcing people to migrate. Others believe natural disasters, floods, earthquakes, shook their foundations. Did they vanish, or did they merge into later civilizations? Some historians believe the Indus people blended into the rising Vedic society, influencing future cultures. Could their traditions still survive in modern India? The Indus Valley may have faded, but its legacy lives on. What came next? Subscribe and join us in the next episode as we unravel the mysteries of the Vedic age.